All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life.
Welcome to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, Facebook Live, 1510.com. We got it all. We got it all, Darren. I'll tell you what, though. I am absolutely hating this weather. My hands, they feel like they've been rubbed with bricks. They hurt so bad. I've never had chafed hands like in my entire life. I feel like I never had chafed hands until this year. My lips feel like they're on fire. My hands hurt. This weather, I'm not built for it, Darren. I had to come in here. Darren Smith is live in his studio. He gets to lotion his hands up. I'm jealous right now.
Well, one, you should be. Again, I told you, if you could figure out a way to run the show from the house, you would be doing just as well as I'm doing. But look, I was outside in this, and I can't lie, it was cold. I had to put some air in one of my tires had low pressure, and so I had to go air it up, and I didn't have any gloves on. So being out there holding the thing, to put air in it, it was very painful, very cold, very cold, very cold.
I'm not gonna lie, I needed it to my Jeep. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm waiting until it warms up, baby. I'm not going out there. I think trying to do that, anything with your car in this weather is just a no-go. I'm waiting until it warms up.
Well, look, if you need to put air in your tire from where you're at, I'm telling you, where you need to go to the gas station. As soon as you get off of 435 to get on Metcalf, in that little plaza where you got like Carrabba's and so that little filling station right there, use that gas pump right there, because it has a thing where you just put on and you just squeeze it. Trust me, it gets you air real quickly. That is literally, if I have to come out to the station, I will wait throughout the day, let my tire thing go low. But once I get it, that's the first place I go, air it up. I'm good to go. That's just free advice.
Hey, I love the advice because I'm probably going to use it. So while we talk about the cold at least it was bright today. The sun came out this morning, so the sun was shining. That was very happy. But what's not happy is if you are a Houston Texans fan, as J.J. Watt requested to be released, and the Houston Texans didn't release him. Houston has a problem.
Oh, they did release him.
They did. I know. They have a major problem. They released J.J. Watt. Now, we already know about the whole Deshaun Watson wanting out of Houston. You trade Hopkins the year before. Dude, they are imploding. They're about to be the worst team in the NFL, hands down.
Well, look, I got a problem with the fact that J.J. Watt asked for a release, and whether he was long in the tooth or not, you granted him that release. Deshaun Watson asked for a trade, and you're trying to hold the man hostage. So I got a problem with that whole scenario and how things look, because the appearance of it just doesn't look good to me. But the fact that he was able to get his release, and now the question is going to be, where does he end up? Now, how does it look for the organization? Obviously, you had the team president resigned just a day or two ago. And mind you, now, he was the first person brought on to that organization before they even came into existence. He was hired 2 years before the Houston Texans, came about. So that tells you something right there. And he is from Clemson, the team president who stepped down. He's an alumni at Clemson, and so obviously he's not happy with the situation, because he was the one that was in charge of hiring the firm that was utilized to do the general manager search. And when they decided to just bunk what the consulting firm did, and went on ahead and hired the guy out of New England, that was enough for him to just end. And so from the reports, he would have stepped down sooner, but I guess out of respect to the organization, they didn't want to make it seem like obviously that the house was burning on fire, which it still is. It just came at a later date. But the fact that he left, obviously, J.J. Watt had said during the season, though, that he did not want to be a part of a rebuilding effort. So, it's not, to me, this wasn't a surprise. This was to be expected. But the fact that he asked and they gave it to him, he asked for his release and they gave it to him right away, it's like, it must be nice to be Watt and be something else, but it is what it is.
Well, Darren, that's disingenuous because, one, Deshaun Watson is going to bring you in at least 2 to 3 first-round draft picks.
So why not
J.J.
trade
Watt
him?
would bring you.
Well, trade him then. I'm saying.
Well, I think they're trying to. I think there's a big difference between a franchise quarterback superstar versus a aging off of major injuries who had 5 sacks and is making $17.5 million a year. Those are two completely different scenarios. One you build around, one you were maybe trying to cut his contract down to begin with. If anything, no team was probably going to trade for J.J. Watt's contract if we're being completely transparent.
Well,
I love J.J. Watt. He's been a phenomenal player for a long time. $17.5 million for you don't want to say injury prone, but a guy coming off major injuries in lots of seasons. That's tough.
Well, first of all, he played all 16 games this past year, so that says something within itself. Second of all, they weren't going to cut J.J. Watt just because of all that he's done. I think he was an NFL Man of the Year and what he's done in that community. So they weren't going to take that PR hit by doing that. So obviously he went to them kind of like what was the quarterback from Detroit, Stafford. He went to them and they allowed it to be a mutual thing to where he goes out and asks for it, so it doesn't make the organization look bad. Because if the organization releases him now, they have now it blows up into a bigger deal. Well, okay, so now you got the team president leaving, J.J. Watt, you release him, and now but you're holding this guy high. So look, this is a PR thing more so for the Texans as it relates to I'm not gonna let them off the hook because J.J. Watt asked for a release and was granted. But to your point about his contract, they were going to pay that man. They were not going to cut J.J. Watt. And if you draft somebody, you're still not going to you're not going to have J.J. Watt coming off the bench. J.J. Watt, if you wanted to retire and play out his contract there with the Houston Texans, they would do that. And they would pay every single penny to him without question.
My point was the trade value of $17.5 million per year. Yeah, he played 16 this year. Year before he played 8, then he played 16, and then he played 5 and then 3. He's not the past 5 seasons. He's played more than 8 games twice. That's not good. That's no one in my mind was going to trade, especially high value picks for J.J. Watt. I think he still has value. I think some team is going to pick him up. Trust me, if he came to Kansas City, I would be ecstatic. I just don't think he's going to come anywhere near the $17.5 million per season price tag.
Well, look, at this point in his career, he's going to be looking for a championship. So he's not going to command that price. Now, when you've made the amount of money that he has made, I mean, look, Houston paid him well, even for those games that he did not play. He said he played more than 8 games twice this year and two seasons ago. Okay, that's fine, but he got paid mighty well for it. What I'm saying to that point, look, they weren't looking to trade him, obviously, and he wasn't looking to be traded. He was just looking to be released so he could go somewhere else to try to win a Super Bowl because he knows that they're going to be in a rebuilding phase and he doesn't want to be in a rebuilding situation with a team that he spent more than a decade. So the situations are not the same with he and Deshaun Watson because he's been there much longer, obviously, and he does not have that many years left in the NFL. So he asked for release. They allowed him to do that, and then he's allowed to go somewhere else. What I'm saying is that while his situation may not be the same because he's asked to be released versus someone being traded, the value of what you can get for Deshaun Watson, the mark has already been set by Matthew Stafford. So you can get 2 firsts, maybe even 3 firsts for Deshaun Watson, but you want to be, and I'll just say it, Sterling, you want to be, like you got to remember, his father, the owner's father, said one time before that they weren't going to let the inmates run the prison, which you was talking about the NFL players, and there's talk about the McNairs in general in that relationship, in that atmosphere down in Houston. This just again, the appearance of it does not look good to where J.J. Watt, your star defensive player, good in the community, blah 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 blah, asked for a release, you granted to him, no arguments. Deshaun Watson, he's good in the community. You offered to pay this man millions of dollars, whatever, with the contract extension. You also told the man and said it in public that you would allow him to have a voice and have input on the GM and the head coaching, and you lied. So because he calls you out on it and doesn't want to be the organization anymore. You and your feelings to where now you want to be like, well, no, we don't want to trade him. And like I said, the market's already set for what you can get for him, if not more. And you want to be stubborn in your way. So again, it doesn't look good because you let one player go who's of one persuasion, the other player has to be traded who's of another persuasion, and you don't want to do that because you want to be stubborn and be like, well, no, we're just going to hold on to you. You're going to be a Houston Texan. Again, it does not look right in my opinion.
Just to me, it's just so different scenarios because one is
I said that
you
one
want to
wants to
build
be
around.
traded and one wants to be released.
Well, I know, but one's the superstar quarterback, which is by far the most important position in football. We know this. Once you hit on your quarterback, you never want to let that guy go.
Right, but
no
but
team
still,
wants to let it.
but the one thing like we talk about with Patrick, you surrounded him with weapons. You gave away his best weapon last year, and for what? A broken down run. So
they're terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you talking about building around him. Well, you had the number one or one of the top 3 wide receivers in the game, and you gave him away for a bag of peanuts and a running back, who, like you said, who couldn't stay healthy. So again, if 100%. I'm Deshaun Watson, why would I want to stay there?
Oh, and I'm with Deshaun Watson. I just think these are two different scenarios. I think it's tough because you need to get at least 3 first rounders for Deshaun, and I think he will command that. My point is, I still think he's going to be traded before the season starts. I don't think Deshaun Watson plays a snap for the Houston Texans.
Agreed.
I don't think he. My point is, I think they're just waiting for the trade market to materialize because every single team, maybe it's after the draft. Maybe we wait and see until after the draft if a team who wanted, say Justin Fields ended up going higher than they expected, and a team really wanted, Justin Fields and they couldn't get him. Maybe then they're even more entrenched into this Deshaun Watson market. So I wouldn't jump to conclusions too soon. I think once the draft plays out, it shakes down a little bit. I still don't think Deshaun's playing a snap for Houston. Then we'll see exactly what happens here.
My only question to you would be is, why would you wait till after the draft when you could utilize and use those draft picks that you can get for Deshaun before the draft, and let things play out? Why would you wait till after the draft?
I just think maybe the market is better for. It doesn't behoove Houston to do that by any means, but I think you would probably get more teams around the NFL potentially interested at that point.
Well, again,
that's what I was saying. More offers, I should say.
Okay, because my pushback would be, again, you can use Deshaun and obviously be able to get his numbers off your books, and you'd be able to save money as well for this year's cap. Plus, you'd be able to get whatever you're going to get. You can draft your new franchise quarterback, or go out there and, depending on who you trade with or your trade partners with, you may get another quarterback. That's why I'm saying you would want to do this before the draft, because that way you have a lot more leverage. And then even if you go into the draft, you can still get those picks and use it for other purposes. That's the reason why I'm thinking to myself, why would you wait till after the draft to try to move them? Because that would kind of defeat the purpose.
My point is they're probably in a 5+ year rebuild. They're going to win 2 games to 4 games next year. If Deshaun Watson's not there, I don't care if you draft a quarterback in the first round this year. I don't care if it's next year. You're probably winning no more than 4 games. You're going to be bad for a long time. You just got to make sure you get the most value possible. You have to make sure you don't mess anything up here. They're not going to win any games with it. If they draft, say they got all picks and they could get Trevor Lawrence somehow, they're still winning 4 games.
Agreed. So if I'm Deshaun Watson, why am I suiting up for you at all? Now, and here's the thing. You can say, we can both say Deshaun Watson's not going to suit up and play for him. And they can say, well, we're not going to trade you. So then you're just going to pay this man $160 or $190 million over the next 5 years. And if you think you're going to franchise tag him, for 2 years after that, and he's not going to play for you, then if you want to spend $200 million on a quarterback who never plays for you, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just – Houston is in a bad spot when no one wants to play for you, when your president is stepping down, when your franchise face and J.J. Watt wants to be released, when your quarterback, your star young quarterback who could potentially they took the Chiefs almost to the finish line in that playoff game. And just think of last year when they win 4 games and now this. They have fallen off harder in 2 years than almost any team I can remember.
No. You're definitely right about that. Again, that's why I don't, I don't feel sorry for the Houston Texans one bit. And look, they get everything that they deserve in this, in this trying times right now.
At what point does do they go and say, you know what, Jack Easterby, you got to go, because he seemingly is the cause of all this angst. I mean, to me, at some point you got to say, you know what, we should probably listen to the players instead of a guy who doesn't really have some major impact title on this team. That just to me makes zero sense.
Well, here's the problem with that, Stroll, is that you've already on the record said that you're not going to let the players run the prison. So you're not. I mean, you're not going to be dictated by what the players want. Yeah, I mean, because one, you don't want to be in a scenario that looks like, okay, well, they're calling the shots. I mean, and look, again, when you're a billionaire, you're not going to let people who work underneath you tell you how to run your business. And so right now, he's stubborn. He fully supports Easterby, and that's just the way it is.
Man, that is, I would just hate to be a Houston. No, it's true. I'm with you. I would hate to be a Houston fan. They're the most. It's crazy because who would have thought that a team like the Jets with Adam Gase would seem competent in comparison?
Oh, man, that's I don't even know. I don't know how to take that one because right. I mean, Adam Gase competent. That's a good one, Sterling. I just don't know.
So with J.J. Watt, where do you think his landing spot's going to be? Is he going to go to the Steelers with his brothers? Is he going to go to a team like the Chiefs where he can potentially win a ring? What's his next stop?
I was looking at. There were some talk. Well, Pittsburgh is the obvious favorite because of his brother, but cap space. I know the Twins, both the Pounceys, one in Pittsburgh, one in L.A., retired today. I don't know, but they don't seem playoff ready. I mean, well, get it back. They made it to the playoffs, but I don't know if they're Super Bowl ready. He wants to win a title. I think, competitively speaking, there's really only 4 teams right off the bat that if you go to, you have a great chance of winning the Super Bowl right away. That is the Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Green Bay Packers, which is his home state and his home state of Wisconsin, and perhaps the New Orleans Saints. Because I think he would fit well with that defense with Cam Jordan and the players on the back end. Look, wherever he's going to go, he's going to start because he's still J.J. Watt. I think if he's healthy, I don't he's still got a lot of motor going in that engine of his. In the AFC, like I said, besides Kansas City, some people say Buffalo, but again, Buffalo. It's hard for me to see a team right now in the AFC knocking off Kansas City. For all of Casey's faults that we saw in the Super Bowl, I think they're still the best team in the AFC when it comes to at least getting out of the AFC to go into the Super Bowl. Now, again, chips fall where they may. If they're healthy, I think Kansas City can beat Tampa Bay 10 out of 10 times with the healthy team. But if they're, if the city goes into the playoffs or goes into Super Bowl like they did this past season, then yeah, all bets off. But J.J. Watt, being playing on the same line as Chris Jones. Look, I think, if J.J. Watt comes to Kansas City, I think he pushes Chris Jones to a level that Chris Jones, should have been playing at this season and didn't, and which is sad because when you look at it, I know this is going in a whole different direction from the question that you asked, but
I like it. Keep it up.
yeah, but but you look at it and you look at what Chris Jones got that contract extension or got that contract money, and his play fell off this year compared to what he did last year when he was trying to get If I remember, either last year before he had 15 and a half sacks. I think it was last year when they won the Super Bowl, or whatever the year before. But he had a lot of sacks compared to the 7.5 that he had this year. So I know Steve Spagnuolo tried to cover for players, talking about his system isn't designed for sacks, it's designed for pressure. Where if you're getting sacks on the quarterback, you're getting pressure on the quarterback, and uh, you know, I don't think that Chris Jones lived up to his contract, in year number one. So hopefully things will work out different next time around. But yeah, I just have to call it like I see it, and I don't think that we got the most out of Chris Jones. Which again, I think if you bring somebody like J.J. Watt in, I believe that you have a much better opportunity to see the best out of Chris Jones. Because if J.J. Watt comes in and outplays Chris Jones, then we don't need Chris Jones on that big contract in year number 3.
I'm with you on the pressure part because this Chiefs defensive line really didn't get pressure on many quarterbacks at all this season.
Yeah.
I think Chris Jones had a good year. I think he was good. But was he the second best interior D lineman besides Aaron Donald good? I don't know. I think DeForest Buckner may have outplayed him this year. I mean, there are some other guys around the NFL that, and again, I love Chris Jones, and he had a good season, but it wasn't the spectacular season that we were used to seeing from him. And you're right. I do think J.J. Watt seems to – I think he would motivate Chris Jones and maybe even motivate Frank Clark to an extent. Think of Frank Clark and J.J. Watt if they're both on with Chris Jones in the middle. Talk about a fearsome D-line, at least on paper. I just don't know the best landing spot J.J. Watt. If he wants to play with his brothers, go ahead, because that would be extremely cool. But the Packers
but cool don't get you Super Bowl.
No, 100% true. And you have no idea what's going to happen with Ben Roethlisberger. That's also a big question mark. I think the Saints, again, make some sense, but what's going to happen with Drew Brees? The Packers make sense in the fact that he went to Wisconsin. They need some help on the D-line, especially on the end. I think that makes a lot of sense as far as fit and scheme. But we'll see. I mean, J.J. Watt will have at least 10-plus teams vying for him, and I think he'll have pretty much his pick. I don't think it's going to be an extremely large contract. I don't think he needs that. I just think he will have his pick of wherever he wants to go. It'll be up to him.
No, I'm with you. But again, but J.J. Watt is going to be realistic, not only with himself, but with the opportunity. If J.J. Watt, look, you already know the landscape. J.J. Watt is not a dumb person. He knows the landscape. He knows which teams can make it to the Super Bowl. Now, could he go to the Rams? He could go to the Rams. Hey, look, and Dominic, but again, I just have to look at where he's going to be lining, where other players are going to be lining. Obviously Aaron Donald plays in the middle, so he's a nose tackle, so to speak. So I think he's on there. But again, I've got to see where he would go and where he fits. Tampa Bay was one of those places that you talked about. Now they got a lot of players that are free agents, and they do have money underneath the salary cap. If they can retain Shaq Barrett, and Shaq Barrett plays linebacker, so if you can retain him, and Dominic Sue will probably leave, but you still got JPP down there. I think he would play well in that system down there, down in Tampa Bay. He wants to go where the path of least resistance to get to his first Super Bowl would be easy. And to be honest, it's only 3 teams really: Green Bay. Now I think about it, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and Kansas City. I mean, now look, that's if you want to win a Super Bowl, because look,
sure, yeah,
he's made all the money. I know you talked about playing with your brother, be cool. Yeah, it would be cool, but like I said, cool ain't gonna win you a Super Bowl.
I just feel like I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens came out of nowhere. The Ravens have been coming out of nowhere with a lot of big-name defensive players recently, and that just wouldn't catch me too off guard as I feel like a lot of people would.
I don't know if he's a Raven fit, man. It just the Ravens just come off with they just seem like they just got a whole different culture built in where I don't know about that one.
I feel like the Ravens jersey just would look weird on him.
Yeah,
I feel like it does. I'm with you. But I thought a Buccaneer jersey looked weird on Tom Brady, but he obviously proved that one wrong.
I didn't think so at all. When they came out, when Brady came out and first picture, it was kind of silhouette. It was he was meant to be a Buck.
I will say one thing on Facebook Live. Ronnie is just sticking it to the Houston fans going in a 12-month span for Houston. Hopkins traded, Harden traded, George Springer signed with Toronto, Westbrook to D.C., and then Watt is released. And now Deshaun Watson obviously wants out of town. So not fun if you are a fan of any of those teams. That has to be one of the worst stretches for a city when it comes to players in a long time.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything from that? Like, I can't think of any. I mean, and I know the Royals had to get like Hosmer and stuff, but
I mean, I like to think New York or L.A. just because they're so big and they got a number of sports. I mean, I'd like to think that they probably had some runs, some bad runs like that somehow over the years. But not at one particular time. No, I can't think of that to save my life because they are. That is really a bad stretch.
Maybe Mets and Knicks fans. I feel like they would probably give them a run for their money. Mets and Knicks fans have had some struggles, I feel like.
Yeah. No, I would tend to agree with that. I would tend to agree with that 1,000%.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break. This is Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
Are you looking for unique sporty clothing and merchandise that makes you stand out from the crowd? Do you love Kansas City sports teams? The Cherry Company designs and creates fashion-forward gear for athletes, avid sports fans, and everything in between. Check out our famous Casey Mahomes denim jacket at cherrysportsgear.com or find it in stores in the Made in KC, Lee Summit, or Plaza location. Sport style, sport local, sport Cherry. Want a 20% off discount? Mention 810 Sports in store or use code 810 online. Stay on top and visit cherrysportsgear.com today.
All right, fellas, listen up because Valentine's Day is closer than you think. And right now you can get a jump on Valentine's Day so you don't get in the doghouse with that special someone in your life. The Gifting Dudes have all that you need. Incredible premium head roses, 20% larger than standard roses. And despite what I've been trying to convince people for my entire life, size does matter. These are long-lasting roses, twice as long as the typical roses from florists. The Gifting Dudes are giving our listeners a special deal before prices increase next week. Order before Sunday and take advantage of lower prices plus 15% off your order. Go to thegiftingdudes.com and enter my promo code NATE at checkout to save 15% on premium head roses or giant strawberries. You get to choose the delivery date, so don't procrastinate. Order now. That's thegiftingdudes.com with promo code NATE for 15% off your Valentine's Day order.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
Have you ever turned down a project because you didn't have the right trucks at the right time? With City Rent a Truck is your fleet solution, that will never happen again. They give you the freedom to grow your business without fleet limitations, leaving no project behind. Don't pay 100% of the cost of ownership for a vehicle you use 50% of the time. The flexible rental and lease options allow you to only pay for what you need. Visit cityrentantruck.com to see the large selection of work trucks and vans and request an online quote today.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other breeds. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Welcome Welcome back to Darren and Darlene right here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, and Facebook Live. We needed some sunshine. We had some sunshine this morning, so I figured bring some sunshine into the afternoon. Darren, I saw something on Facebook Live. What about old J.J. Watt to the 49ers? Put him with Osa.
Yeah, they both stay healthy. I like that. You know, I like moves like that. You know, you get a good veteran with a young up and coming stud like that. I would like it. I don't think it would be a trade that they would do. Oh well, no, it doesn't have to be a trade. I think he could sign it. Yeah, I think it'd be nice. But for me, I just want to know where Deshaun Watson ends up. And I know people talking about the Jets, whatever. I really don't want him to go to the Jets because I know he's Deshaun Watson, and I think he walks on water sometimes. But there are some things that even I can't sell that. So it's
you know it's bad. You know it's bad when the Jets right now are a better run organization than the Houston Texans. That's when you know it's bad.
No, it's embarrassing. I mean, it's more than just bad. It's embarrassing because there's nothing. I mean, again, man, I am at a loss of words right now because it is so dysfunctional. Where I guess we take for granted because of what we've seen over the last 3 seasons with the Chiefs and how this organization has been ran, at least I mean, effectively well. You see pretty much what the Patriots were able to do for 20 years with Tom Brady there. We see how some of these other organizations who kind of lead by example, and then you see some of the dysfunction of some of these other organizations or some of these other teams, and it makes you wonder, like, all these billionaires, you would think that they became billionaires for reasons like they surrounded themselves with smart people, but it don't seem to be smart people that are, but these smart people seem to be running their franchises, into the ground. And I just, the life of me, just don't get it. I wasn't
That
born.
has to be one of the toughest questions in I feel like in all of sports is how the hell are these guys billionaires if they can't run an organization at least competently? Like don't even just don't run it like terribly. Just run it even below average would be acceptable. But these so many organizations just run it so bad. I'm just sitting here going, now how the hell did you become a billionaire?
And look, the worst part is that, I mean, you would have a better chance of being a GM than me. And it's like, we sit here from time to time, we talk about, man, we were GM, for a day. This is what we would do left, right, and our thought process is much, well. One, we base our stuff off of common sense, and again, I don't know what they base what they do off of. I don't know if it's just a gut feeling or something. When it comes to players and what I see, I go off the eye test. I know you kind of go off the analytics, and we fight each other on that, and it is what it is. But yeah, it just, I don't know, man. I just, those are some of the questions in life that I ponder late at night when I lay in the bed. Is how did I end up in this business and not in that business to where I could just be robbing people of money, uh, you know, just for sheer incompetence.
Before we get to NBA talk, I want to touch on the Chiefs very quickly. Of the wide receivers who are on this current team, who comes back? Because that's a huge question mark, is who is going to be back. We all know Tyreek Hill is going to be back, so we can cross that one off. We know Tyreek is back. But outside of Tyreek Hill, which of these wide receivers come back? I'm just like,
Well,
I'm
I would
honestly confused by
imagine,
this.
I would imagine McCole comes back just because he's still on his rookie deal. So, I mean, you don't. I mean, I mean, what he's going to be able to give you is two different things. But uh, those two come. I think Byron Pringle. I believe he's. I got to look at the. I have not looked because I didn't know this question was coming up, so prepared for it. But I
That's why I
would.
surprise you.
No. No. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying that as it relates to where I'm going with this, I don't know where Byron Pringle is contract wise, where he's at with the Chiefs. How many years he may have. Well, what kind of contract he's under. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could bring Sammy Watkins back, but he's going to be at a league veteran minimum if he were to come back. But again, the problem I have was that Sammy can't stay healthy. If you sneeze on him, he's going to be out with a hamstring injury. So that's my concern about him. Look, I love the guy on and off the field. It's just I can't get him to stay on the field long enough to contribute anything to me. Demarcus Robinson, I don't think he returns. Who else do we've got? As I said, I don't know who else we got. So I could.
So I think Byron Pringle's contract is up after this year.
Okay.
It looks like he signed a 2-year contract in 2019. It was 2019 and 2020 were his 2 years. I think you bring Pringle. I think Pringle is the next guy. I think he's shown enough to where you go, I think we trust him. I don't think D-Rob comes back.
No.
I don't think Sammy Watkins comes back. McCole Hardman, I think because he's on a rookie deal, he comes back. And I was a huge McCole Hardman guy. But if he was not on a rookie contract, I don't think he's coming back to Kansas City. He has not shown enough. I don't, in my opinion, to where you think that he's going to be some stud wide receiver. And I feel bad saying that because I like McCole. I think he's a great guy too. But, I mean, Darren, has he shown you enough to make you think that he's going to be some stud or even a number 2 wide receiver in the NFL?
First of all, because I've gotten on him, so that's so. I mean, I think I'm gonna change that opinion now. All of a sudden, man, I know we're gonna have an argument with him at the barbershop. But look, it is. But but to be honest, to his credit, because I asked him directly, I did ask him directly whether or not he felt that he lived up to his own expectations going from year 1 to year 2, and he gave himself the grade of I believe a C-. So for that and the fact that he's able to be realistic of what was expected of him, I respect that from him. But no, if he wasn't on a rookie deal, no, I would not see him coming back.
I think it just hurts so much more when you see some of the guys who were drafted after him. That one hurts.
Well,
when you see guys like DK Metcalf drafted after him, that hurts. Is that fair to put on McCole? Is it fair to say, hey, since these guys were drafted after you, you should be putting up similar or at least comparable numbers?
Well, no, I mean, it's fair because you got to stop thinking about it. Tyreek Hill went from a return specialist in year 1 and played himself and trained and worked on his skills as a wide receiver in the offseason and became a number 1, number 2 wide receiver in year number 2. So that was, and again, when you were initially drafted, to be that replacement for Tyreek because we didn't know what his situation was going to be at the time. But, you all have access to the same trainer that he does, which is Luther Glover. And for me, I mean, there's no excuse for you to not be, because you were a pretty good, I would imagine, receiver down at Clemson. You started down there. So I mean, if you want to take it to the next level, you don't have nothing but time in the NFL. You have obviously your job, but it's not like you got class or anything to go to unless you're taking classes, something. But from what I see of McCole likes to be on IG, be on Twitter, DM nice ladies. I don't have a problem with that because that's hey, it is what it is. But he also likes to play a lot of PlayStation stuff too. So while you're playing PlayStation, Tyreek is out here, training, getting better, getting stronger, doing all the, working on the skills. So, hey, I don't, me, I'm not in the excuse making business, and so he has an opportunity to be good, to be great, and I think he felt himself this past season.
I say all of this in this exercise to say there may be more question marks at wide receiver for this Chiefs team going forward than at any other position group.
No, there's really linemen.
Well, no. I get that, but my point is you only have 3 guys probably that you're going to bring back, 2 guys basically under contract for next year. your whole goal outside of protecting Patrick is to give him weapons. We've seen this. Even you and I agreed going into the Super Bowl. We go, you know what? Even though it's a patchwork offensive line, Patrick will make it work. Obviously, we found out that was not the case. But just to me, I think you need to surround Patrick with as many weapons as possible because that's what helped him so much in, say, 2018.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but if you can protect Patrick, it don't matter how many weapons he has.
I think there's so many guys that are coming back from the offensive line. Take out Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, since those are both uncertain. I agree, those guys are both uncertain. But you get Lucas Niang back. You get some of the other guys healthy like Nick Allegretti, Andrew Wiley, Austin Ryder. You get Martinez Rankin back. You get some of your guys who are still under contract back and healthy. So to me, I think you still spend some draft capital on the offensive line, but I think you're going to be spending more draft capital on wide receiver than I think people are probably realizing right now.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I told you this draft would be all linemen and wide receivers. I mean, that's just me. And well, I'm not going to say running back just because you just drafted one last year.
It better not be. You just spent a first-round draft pick on a running back. If you drop another on a running back, I'm going to scream.
Well, I mean, they drafted D-Train 2 years ago, late in the round. Of course, they want to draft this guy. But no, I'm with you. I'm going to presume that Damian Williams returns next season. So with that out of the way, I think you're fine with the backfield, and you never know. Maybe off season, maybe with training camp, maybe with OTAs, maybe you bring Le'Veon back, and maybe he can get more. He can get more involved in the offense. I don't know, but to your point, maybe you get a defensive lineman to in the draft or free agent to go alongside Chris Jones and that line. Again, if you bring JJ Watt in, then you're good. But
we can dream.
Yeah,
we can dream with JJ Watt.
but to your point, I'm looking at all left tackle, right tackle, wide receivers. That's it. Yeah. And to be quite honest, I'm looking for speedsters. Well, and here's the thing, man. The Chiefs, they got some wide receivers. It just makes me wonder. Like, I mean, they got the big kid who Marcus Kemp. I mean, I know they had a few others.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know, man. I'm old school. I played football in the '90s and stuff like that, and so I was raised. I played different. I practiced. I just have a different mental mindset. I grew up different from these cats. I grew up, they grew up in the hood, but I grew up in the hood where literally we took guns to school in my locker room down here at Central High School. So my environment was much different, was much rougher. So we grew up at a much younger, earlier age than these cats do now. To me, the wide receivers that they have, I think these coaches and even personnel, Scott, they got to be a little bit tougher on these cats, man, because not everybody gets a chance to play in the NFL, whether you make it on the practice squad or the full 53-man roster. It's a privilege, and to me, I don't know, man. People talk about it's a movie, or whatever. I love Remember the Titans because I take a lot of those key aspects in everyday life, and the thing is, you want to demand and you want to be perfect, and you want to be perfect in every sense of the way. Like when we do the show, we want to be perfect regardless of how it may turn out, And so, if I'm a wide receiver and I have the opportunity to play with Patrick Mahomes, there's nothing that I won't do in the off season to make sure that one, I'm on that roster and I get a chance to play on the field with Patrick. If I see what Tyreek is doing and you see it's paying off, the man made the all-decade team. He went from a return specialist, I think he made that as well. So he went as a return specialist to a wide receiver, and he made it to the all-decade team. That says a lot about Tyreek and his work habits. If you're a wide receiver on the Chiefs and you can't mimic what he's doing to strive for greatness, you don't need to be on the team. But again, that's just me. But again, I'm trying to bring myself down some because I heard you chuckling when I talked about Remember the Titans, but the whole idea is still the same. It's still the same.
No, I'm with you. I I agree. I thought maybe you're going to go into Rudy next. I'm just.
No. And I love.
Well,
Rudy.
I'll let you calm down over the break because we'll take a break and come back and finish this show with some NBA talk. I hear you getting heated back there. I haven't heard that in a while from you. I like that.
Hey, man, because look, man, I got enough going on with the Chiefs already, man. And the last thing I've been calling our players out, man. I'm trying to motivate your players to play better. So, hey, is what it is.
Darren, the motivator.
Works for me.
All right, we'll take a quick break. This is Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Jordan, president of Digital Lagoon, a web and mark company. This past year has been difficult for everyone. Working long hours, we helped hundreds of companies by upgrading their websites, adding e-commerce, print portals, and other online functionality. Digital Lagoon created social media campaigns, newsletters, and marketing concepts. These companies just didn't survive. In many cases, they prospered. As we enter 2021 with optimism, let Digital Lagoon help you make an online difference. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
Honey, what should we do for dinner tonight?
I don't know. What do you want to do? I want to support somewhere local.
Have you heard?
Heard what?
Red Door Wood Fired Grill has $5 classic burgers on Monday, and my buddy from work told me on Thursday they have the best jalapeno fried chicken in all of Kansas City.
Get in.
Whether it be a juicy burger or chicken fried to perfection, there's something for everyone at Kansas City's upscale neighborhood joint. Red Door Wood Fired Grill. What are you waiting for, KC? Get in here.
Check out the latest gear in the 810 fan shop at 810whb.com/shop. We have hoodies, long and short sleeve t-shirts, and much more. It's all just a click away. Go to 810whb.com/shop to see the whole selection. Check out the latest designs now available in all sizes, including onesies. That's right, 810whb.com. The 810 fan shop has something for everyone, and we have new gear dropping all the time. Go to 810whb.com/shop.
Are you looking for unique sporty clothing and merchandise that makes you stand out from the crowd? Do you love Kansas City sports teams? The Cherry Company designs and creates fashion-forward gear for athletes, avid sports fans, and everything in between. Check out our famous Casey Mahomes denim jacket at cherrysportsgear.com or find it in stores in the Made in KC, Lee Summit, or Plaza location. Sport styles, sport local, sport cherry. Want a 20% off discount? Mention 810 Sports in store or use code 810 online. Stay on top. Visit cherrysportsgear.com.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options, but only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with auto pay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction and personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake, lightstream.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR. Include 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling right here in Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM. Darren, you know what I've always wondered? How the hell did J.D. Power and Associates just start ranking everything? They always hand out awards. Why can't it be Darren and Sterling Award? That's what I think we should do, to start handing out awards and be like, they're #1 place in Darren and Sterling Awards.
I mean, you got the must do it. You know.
Well, you did until you lost it all betting at the Super Bowl.
No. I didn't lose it. The Chiefs got their ass kicked and cost me money. Let's keep that. Let's make that straight. Because
all right,
I held up to my end. You know, I believed in them. Well, tomorrow you're not a Chiefs. I'm not. I'm definitely not after what they showcased in the Super Bowl. It cost me all that damn money.
Well, let's calm Darren down. We'll get a little bit of NBA talk to finish the show today. I wanted to ask you, which NBA team has been the biggest surprise this season for you?
Ooh, the biggest surprise would also be the biggest disappointment thus far, even though I am definitely looking forward to their game tomorrow night against the Gulf State Warriors, and that is the Brooklyn. For a team, obviously with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, the first few games, they were like, okay, you could see some potential, but they didn't have no defense. Or, well, no, they had a little bit of defense, but then they traded some of those players to get James Harden. Now they can score, but they can give them more points than what they put in the basket. So that's been most surprising because kind of new. However, the good thing is though with them is that they know, they they've been able to work out pretty much the ball thing. Like James Harden is the point guard, Kyrie Irving is the off guard, Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. But the flip side is that you really need to have one of them come off the bench with the unit, and because obviously egos are involved, that's not going to happen.
So since you kind of went with biggest disappointment thrown in there, I would go with my biggest disappointment, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. I really thought the Dallas Mavericks, I thought they were really going to take this step forward. I picked them last year, and they really did good. Kristaps Porzingis, though, has struggled. I know he had some surgeries, and he's had all those injuries, but he just does not look like the Kristaps that was in New York. And he even played well towards the end of last year in the bubble. When he got healthy and got his legs underneath him, he was looking good. But now Kristaps is jacking up shots. He looks slow. It's not good. When your only offense is Luka and occasionally Tim Hardaway Jr., that's not a team that's going to make any noise. So I think Dallas has been the biggest disappointment for me. For you, what's been the biggest pleasant surprise?
Biggest pleasant surprise? It would probably be, and I got to look at my schedule because I'm looking at some games to maybe bet on tonight. Because I got to win that money back from the Super Bowl. I would say biggest surprise actually probably be the Charlotte Hornets. And I say that because of the expectations if you look at it, just the expectations of what they had to go through, drafting who was it, LaMelo Ball, and what they were able to do. I mean, now look, I'm not, one right now they're a playoff team. If everything was in today, they would be in the playoffs. They'd be a number 7 seed. So I think to me that is the biggest surprise. They actually here's the other thing, man. They lead the Southeast division, the Southeast division in the Eastern Conference. So so that to me is the biggest surprise.
Yeah, I did not think that they would be this good. LaMelo has proved a lot of people wrong. He's starting to actually hit more threes, even with that broke-looking jumper. It's going in, and that's what matters. To me, the biggest, I would say, pleasant surprise has to be the Utah Jazz.
And that was
they're
20-5. Yeah, that was going to be my team.
I mean, they're 20-5, and people keep saying, well, they're treating the regular season like it's the postseason. Well, that's not a bad thing. They want to win. They know the value of not having to face the Clippers and Lakers. If they can make the Clippers and Lakers play each other in the round before them, that would be massive for the Utah Jazz. So I think that has to be the biggest surprise. The fact that Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and their cast of very good, they just have a whole bunch of above average players. That's what it is.
Well,
they don't have any guys, like I would say below average players getting minutes. It's all guys who are above average, who are contributing in some way. And then when you have Jordan doing what he's doing off the bench, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, and look, the Jazz, they have a pretty good lineup. I mean, and look, they have players that can get after it. The thing that I enjoy, and especially because I do try to put I like to build parlays, but I mean, Rudy Gobert, he gets after it, man. I think he is one. There's somebody else too. There's a big center, and I'm thinking of my guy down in Denver, but but they play so well, man. I'm trying to figure out where they're getting all this energy from, where they can get 18, 19, 22 rebounds in the game. It's like, dude, it's only the second quarter. Like, seriously, I mean, and so look, I like Conley, and Mitchell, they're starting to Bojan Bogdanovic. Royce, and look, we haven't really talked about obviously Royce. Look, we're gonna be talking a lot of basketball real soon, obviously, but no, Utah, they're on top, and Portland as well. I don't want to leave them out because there are a lot of pleasant surprises as it relates to these teams and how they're in the expectation. But again, I go back to Charlotte just because of expectations. We didn't expect a lot because they haven't made the playoffs. Michael Jordan has been considered the worst owner in the NBA for a number of years, and his draft and stuff, his stock and everything like that. I just believe that because of maybe low expectations or no expectations, the fact that Charlotte is sitting in the number 7 seed compared to, if you look at the Eastern Conference, Philly, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Boston, I think Toronto, all these other teams made it to the NBA playoffs last year. I think with the exception of Miami being on the outside looking in. So I'm just saying, of all the teams that are right now in the playoffs, Charlotte is the one team that no one would expect to be there right now.
With how good LaMelo has been, is it safe to say that Minnesota has already messed up that draft?
No, they got who they wanted. Golden State got Wiseman, so no, I think it all was supposed to work out to where it was supposed to work out. If you listen to Lamar, then this is where he wanted him to be.
Well, good for Lamar, good for LaMelo, and good for the Charlotte Hornets. Well, this was Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City, 15:10 a.m., 94.5 FM. We'll be back tomorrow live from 3 to 4 p.m. right here.
We'll be back on Monday.
Dog, I bleep you not. I thought today was Thursday. We'll see you guys Monday. Fantastic news. This just made my week.